to come back in a way to Corpse Bride, Tim, the world as we live in, quote unquote, the world above, is dark, gray, black, drab, mean. The world under, except for Victoria. The world underneath is colorful, fun, animated, dancing, laughing, singing. That was the idea from the word go?
Well, yeah, I think for me it was sort of symbolic of, again, you kind of go back to your childhood in a way and feeling society kind of as somewhat repressed, and feeling like in the kind of culture I grew up, feeling very, things are categorized and sort of repressed, and death is looked upon as a dark subject matter, and then living nearby to Mexico where they celebrate the Day of the Dead, where skeletons is humor and celebration. It seemed much more appropriate. So this was really meant to be just sort of symbolic of sort of the real world and kind of repressive society versus your creative mind and your creative spirit and sort of joy and what you hope for in life in a certain way. So that it was not meant to be so literal, but more symbolic that way.
But at the same time, down there are no villains. And the first shot that we have of the bride, when she lifts her veil, she looks as glamorous as Ingrid Bergman in Casablanca.
Yeah, well, she was shot with that in mind. We kept, she got the gauze treatment that a lot of actresses get.
Yeah, and I got the eye treatment too.
So that also was completely deliberate from the
word. Yeah. No, I mean, it was always meant to be a juxtaposition and sort of turning things on its head and to, show things in a new way that way. But yeah, I think she was the only character that got the glamour treatment. That's for sure. Yeah. Vaseline on the lens,
And the secret pulse of the eyes. Sir.
With the variety of projects the two of you have worked on, is there any character or film that you felt would deserve a sequel or a revisitation?
Well, for me personally, I think it's a mistake for me to do sequels. I think I've proven that a few times. For me personally, I think there's some movies that people maybe do better they do better movies, but I think for me, even if the movie's not great, there's something about a spark or something that is hard to kind of capture again. There's something surprising about doing a first one that is quite difficult to kind of recapture. So I think for me, I would try to avoid it.
Playing it's a different animal altogether for an actor, I think, doing a sequel, because you sort of get to know this character and you fall in love with this character to some degree, and then you know that the clock is ticking and you have to say goodbye to him at a certain point. And it's even though they're still in there somewhere, it kind of makes you, it's a pretty sad separation. So for me, being able to play a character, the same character a couple of times is really, it's a real gift. I'm trying to talk Tim into doing Ed Wood too.
The porno years? Yeah. We got into making Orgy of the Dead. Yeah, well, okay, well, then we'll discuss that.
Actually, you're well placed to discuss that kind of process, Johnny, because the pirate movie was such a runaway hit, sometimes unexpectedly. The success to that level was kind of unexpected. Yes, yes. And your character in that movie had such an impact that it's one of the reasons why the sequel was made. At that point, the character is so much yours that it would be surprising that you don't have a hand in the script writing and the development of the sequel. Is that what happened? Is that part of an actor's job when he runs away with a character from sequel to sequel, if there is a third one to be?
The strange thing that happens, I think, when the author, when the writer delivers the screenplay, you read the thing, you start doing your homework on the character, you start building this guy, and you get to know him very well. Then you play him. You play him for a pretty lengthy period of time, and at a certain point, you know that character in a lot of ways better than the writer. So, I mean, in terms of the process for Pirates 2 and Pirates 3, the writers, because I'm such a pain in the ass, but on Pirates 1, I was sort of all over them, I was like, like tugging on their shirts all the time, like, hey, you know what, I think this might be a good idea, So for Pirates 2 and 3, in order to avoid me coming to rapping on their door, they just came to me and said, why don't we talk through these ideas and stuff? So, which is great to be involved in that process. It's really nice.
He does that even without a sequel. I mean, that's no, but I mean that's good. No, but it's like he's playing the character. So, on every movie I've ever worked with him on, it's a daily conversation about what about this, what about that. So it's I don't think it has to necessarily do with a sequel. It's just you're investing yourself into the character.
It's just part of that process.
Yeah.
I've already written the score to Edward Scissorhands too, by the way. Just if you ever do make it, I don't even have to score it.
Ma'am? And then ma'am.
Hi, sorry, question for Helena. Considering your last two films so wonderful, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and of course Corpse Bride, has having children really inspired you to do more films that your children can enjoy?
Yeah. I don't think Billy's seen either of them, but we'll probably show him Corpse Bride pretty quickly. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's kind of nice being a child. I mean, not being a child, but having a child, because then it's an excuse to be childish, which I think I've been anyway for years now. But now I've got a proper excuse. But yeah, no, definitely. But I only just do films, if that Tim's doing. I mean, if he asks me, and it's not a given. Having said that I get a part. Although you'd think, since I've given him a child, that it would be, but I don't get any preferential treatment, actually. Although it seems that, I mean, I had to, I'll stop there, just because we are getting on at the moment.